Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, I am very happy to report to you, boys and girls, that Deadpool and Wolverine have absolutely crushed it at the box office. If you saw our video over the weekend, you know it broke absolute Thursday night preview records, not only for an R-rated movie, but a whole bunch of records for movies in general out there all the way around, boys and girls, and it is very exciting to see. The marketing around this movie has been absolutely incredible. My wife and I went and saw the movie over the weekend. We absolutely enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was a really, really good movie with a lot of romp. I've got a couple other thoughts that I'll give you later on in the video. But right now, boys and girls, I'm excited to bring to you the absolute success of this movie, because this movie right here proves to you not only that you can do a rated R movie well and have it be an absolutely huge success, even inside of the superhero genre, but when you do things that properly represent the characters, you stick to the good lore, and you give the fans what they want, you will be successful. As we've said around here time and time again, you give the fans what we want, and we will make you rich, boys and girls, and that is exactly what is going on here with Deadpool and the Wolverine, with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman out there, boys and girls, because the residuals on this movie will absolutely line the pockets of both of those wonderful gentlemen, and that is something I am excited to report to you on, boys and girls, because even though there's all the naysayers out there that be like, well, I don't want to support Disney, I don't want to go see this movie, that's perfectly fine. I completely and totally understand that. They have earned your ire 100 times over, ladies and gentlemen, but at the end of the day, also think about this. You will also be lining Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman's pocket, as well as, don't worry, boys and girls, because trust me, the Captain America 4 movie will totally end up losing them all the limited amount of profit they made on this movie, and trust me, this won't even add a drop in the bucket to stop the billions of dollars of losses that Disney and Marvel has had over the last few years. So, boys and girls, something that I'm excited about, something that I'm happy to talk to you about is right over here at the Hollywood Reporter, because box office, Deadpool and Wolverine land 6th biggest opening of all time with $211 million, makes R-rated history, and that is an absolute credit to the genius Ryan Reynolds, his entire crew, and the writers and the director and everybody behind it, and of course our wonderful Hugh Jackman donning that beautiful yellow suit that so many of us have been asking for so long. So we're going to get into this article, we're going to give you all the juicy details, and of course we're going to pop over the numbers to break down a little bit of this and see exactly how this is working out, especially for the international box office, which is crushing it as well. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe and or follow if you have not already, because we have finally crossed 900. We are sailing our way towards 1,000, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment down below and let us know if you've gone and seen the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, what you thought about it, whether you plan on seeing it if you haven't already, and also what you think, how far do you think this movie can go? I think there is no doubt in my mind whatsoever this movie will hit $1 billion globally. I'm excited to see how far it will end up going. God only knows, after all. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The Ryan Reynolds Hugh Jackman superhero pick smashed numerous records, both domestically and overseas, for a stunning global launch of $44.1 million. That is insane, boys and girls, and talk about absolutely outpacing everything else that Disney Marvel has done over the last few years, boys and girls. I mean, this has got to be an absolute embarrassment to everybody involved with the Marvels, because that movie, literally, this movie right here in its very first weekend made more money than the Marvels for its entire run, boys and girls, and that was a movie that cost Disney Marvel hundreds of millions of dollars. Here's your blueprint, Kevin Feige. Are you going to listen? Only time will tell. The Merc with the Mouth is back on the big screen, and he's a Marvel. Ha ha ha, good job. What'd you do there? Who is this? Who is this? Who is this? Good job, Pamela McClintock. Good job. Directed by Sean Levy in close collaboration with a franchise mastermind and star Ryan Reynolds. Like I've been saying from the beginning about this movie, this is not a Kevin Feige production. This is not a Disney Marvel production. This is a Sean Levy and Ryan Reynolds production, specifically a Ryan Reynolds production. Deadpool and Wolverine opened to a record-shattering $211 million at the domestic box office, landing the 6th biggest opening of all time for any film Obviously, this isn't accounting for inflation, and by far the biggest launch for an R-rated film. According to final numbers, that's up from Sunday's estimate of $205 million, which would have made it the 8th biggest opening of all time. The first Deadpool was the previous R-rated record holder at $133.7 million. That jump from 205 to 211 million is a big one and underscores how the movie is outpacing all modeling. Put another away. Sunday traffic was far bigger than expected. And this is one of the things when I was covering the preview numbers on my Friday live stream, because I do a live stream Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. If you haven't caught those, make sure you hit the notification bell. Make sure you go follow us on Rumble. You see all that kind of stuff over there. But one of the things is, one of the guys already said he went and saw it at the Thursday previews. He was already ready to go back and see it again on Saturday, because he absolutely loved it this much. So I'd imagine there was probably a lot of people from Friday and Saturday night that loved the movie so much they wanted to go back and see it again on Sunday. I know if I would have had the extra cash, if I would have had a Comic-Con to cover over the weekend, my wife and I probably would have went back and seen it again. This is definitely a movie you need to see several times in order to catch all of the little things that are in the background that you might not catch on the first time going to see the movie. There's a lot of craziness going on in it, and it's definitely a really great ride out there. So once again, this is something that is absolutely crushing the box office expectations, and this is something that time and time again we have seen a lot of these guys overestimate movies that the audience all expected to do very poorly, whereas in this case, once again, underestimating a movie that the world out there, and especially the audience and the fans, were super excited for. Once again, Hollywood doesn't get it, but maybe, Deadpool really is Marvel Jesus, and they might actually see the light. God only knows, after all. We can hope, but prepare for the worst, boys and girls. Deadpool 3 also shattered records for an R-rated pick on a global scale, opening at $233.1 million internationally from 55 material markets for a worldwide start of $441.1 million, up from Sunday's estimate of $438.3 million. I mean, they were consistently 5 to 10 million under for this entire movie. Among additional, which still, honestly, since you're basically guessing and going through patterns and models and stuff like that, still isn't that bad. It's probably better than your local weatherman. Among additional records domestically, the film is the top opening ever for Reynolds, Levy, and co-lead Hugh Jackman, and the 4th biggest superhero launch. It's also the top July opening, as well as the biggest launch since Spider-Man No Way Home in December 2021, when the Sony Marvel pick opened to $260.1 million domestically. That was a PG-13 movie, boys and girls. That's a movie you basically could have taken the majority of your family to, right? In most cases. And an R-rated movie almost beat it at opening weekend. That shows you not only the star power of Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman as Deadpool and Wolverine, but also the love and respect the fans have and the trust they are willing to give Ryan Reynolds, making sure that this is going to be a good movie that isn't going to pander or push an agenda. Hell, even their end credit scenes weren't a commercial for another movie. They just added in wonderful things to the movie itself. And make sure you stay until the very end, boys and girls. I'm just going to let you know that right now. Globally, where are we at? Yeah, No Way Home. Globally, it's also the biggest opening since No Way Home, after passing up Avatar: The Way of Water on Sunday. This thing beat Avatar's opening weekend, and it pushed Marvel's MCU movies past the 30 billion mark in a combined worldwide ticket sales. Further solidified, it is the top grossing franchise in history. That includes movies distributed by Sony, Paramount, Universal versus just Disney. Premium format screens contributed 18% of the gross, led by 36.5 million IMAX ticket sales. My wife and I went and saw it IMAX. How did you guys go and see it out there? And July, and an R-rated record for the largest format exhibitor. So it literally broke IMAX records for a rated R movie. This thing is just crushing it everywhere it possibly can. Heading into the weekend, the prequel, which returns Reynolds and Deadpool, Jackman, yada expected to open to 160 to 175 million in North America, which were already huge numbers for a movie movie with the restricted rating. And it crushed that. They expected $175 million. It come up to 211. It crushed their estimates by $40 to $60 million, boys and girls. That is absolutely insane. Once again, showing you Hollywood just doesn't get the audience. They don't get the fans. And at the end of the day, they don't get the customer, which who pays all of their bills, boys and girls. So Deadpool and Wolverine, the first R-rated movie, yada, yada, yada. The movie's performance was fueled by strong reviews, an A cinema score, near perfect exit scores, and a 97% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, which is absolutely insane. And if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes score, it's actually the lowest critic score of any Marvel movie. At least it was at the time last week when we looked into it. And the funny part about that is the fans absolutely love it. Once again, showing that no one cares about what the legacy media critics have to say about any of this kind of stuff. They don't trust you, and they never ever will again, which is why channels like mine and so many hundreds of others out there are growing by leaps and bounds every day, because we are the new media. No one trusts the legacy anymore. So Deadpool and Wolverine, the first R-rated movie, 97% score. That the second best score ever for a Marvel film, behind Sony and Marvel's Spider-Man No Way Home. It's literally the #2 best rated Marvel movie of all time. That's insane. And we went over the numbers as far as the demographics for the Thursday night. If you missed the video over the weekend, I put out a video over the weekend showing how the numbers breaking down the fact that women absolutely love Deadpool and Wolverine, and in some cases women actually loved the movie more than men, especially in the younger demographics. Goes through China, goes through a lot of this kind of stuff, goes through the history of all of that kind of stuff, and it's one of them situations where, and then they go over the rest of the numbers for the weekend. We don't really care about that. It's one of them situations where this is what happens when you make the audience happy, when you make the fans happy, when you respect the characters, when you respect the lore, and when you actually show the love and appreciation for these characters that Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have done. What kind of appreciation, what kind of love and adoration did we get in the marketing for the Eternals movie for Jack Kirby or for any of the original Eternals character? Zero. None. Zip, diddly, zuda. All their marketing was all about a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of other BS, and a bunch of other about how to save all of these lives. Well, boys and girls, at the end of the day, that doesn't sell tickets. It doesn't work. What works is respecting the characters, finding people that know, understand, and love these characters, or who are at least willing to embody them the way all of their fans know them. You don't spend billions of dollars buying a franchise, buying an IP, unless you're paying for the built-in massive amount of customer base and fan base that it already has. When you ignore those fans, when you ignore those generational, decades-long fans, you will continue to fail time and time again. Just like the Marvels failed, just like the Eternals failed, and just like so many of these other Disney Plus series have failed in the past as well. This is what happens when you respect the fans, when you respect the lore, and most of all, give us people that are excited about the characters. That love them, that have a passion for them, that show a passion that is almost to the extent of the fans, if not in some cases more. When you show us that you love something, when you're passionate about it, and you show us you're going to be loyal to it and respect the characters, we're willing to look by a lot of other nonsense. Is this a perfect representation of Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe? Of course not. Is this an excellent representation of Deadpool and Wolverine and their dynamic that we have seen time and time again in the comic books in a slightly different and new story? Yes, absolutely. And that's why it's successful. They respect the fans, they respect the source material, and most of all, they love what they're doing. They're not trying to push an agenda. They're trying to push you a good representation of these characters, and that's what gets you success. That is what's going to make this movie a billion-dollar worldwide box office sensation, and what has caused it to break record after record and go down as the #1 highest-grossing R-rated movie of all time. That's what Deadpool and Wolverine can give you. So listen up and pay attention, Disney Marvel. Pay attention, Bob Iger. Pay attention, Kevin Feige. Because unlike Star Wars, Marvel isn't a completely and totally dead brand. And if you play your cards right and you follow this kind of lead, you may, just may, not go down as the guy who has the highest grossing successful franchise in box office history, instead of going down as the guy who killed it, you might actually end up going down as the guy who revived it and made it great once again. But like we've said a million times before, and we're going to end once more time again here, make the fans happy like Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have done, and we'll make you rich. Ignore us, disparage us, and destroy what we love. We will sit back, laugh at you, and watch you burn down to the ground. The choice is yours, Disney Marvel. You'll get what you deserve.